Welcome to IELTS classes. This is the second video that you are going to watch now. Today we are going to discuss listening module, and this is the listening module part 2. As you discussed with Mr. Narun in the previous video, and he gave you certain tips for listening task, and with the help of those listening task tips you can score well. Now this is the continuation video of the same topic, and this is the second part of it. And as you had seen in the first video, there were 8 questions that were asked or that can be asked. In this video there can be 5 to 6 questions that can be asked, and here are the types of questions that can be asked in the second part of listening. So as you can read on the board, types of questions. There are 3 types of questions. First is recognizing directions. Second one is understanding instructions, and the third one is labeling maps. So first of all, you saw the 3 types of questions. Now let us see one by one and understand what is called or what is the meaning of these questions. Recognizing directions. So if you think of it, or if you read it carefully, you can understand very easily that we have to recognize, or you can say identify the directions. Now what is direction? Direction क्या है ये आपको तो पता होगा. Directions means दिशा. तो इसमें क्या होता है generally that you have to identify the directions by listening to the audio. Now imagine that you are blindfolded. आपकी आंखें बंद की गई है, ठीक है, और आपको सिर्फ सुनना है और उस जो ऑडियो है उसके हिसाब से आपको चलना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, गो स्ट्रेट, टेक अ लेफ्ट, टेक अ राइट, गो स्ट्रेट एंड टेक सेकंड लेफ्ट और सेकंड राइट. दिस इज हाउ यू फॉलो द डायरेक्शंस एंड कंटिन्यू वॉकिंग. सो दैट इज हाउ you face questions in the listening task, and you have to understand and analyze the audio, and accordingly you have to write your answers. So that is very, very important. The second question that you have to solve or you come across is understanding instructions. What is this? Now you have to understand that understanding instruction means कोई भी instruction आपको दिया जाता है तो उसको आपको समझना है. It's very simple. If I say fold this paper, then I say fold it twice. If I say make a triangle out of it after folding it, this is how I give you instructions. You listen to it, and if you have the paper, you fold it and make a triangle out of it. So that is how you listen to the instruction, try to understand them and follow them. The next one is labeling maps. Now what is labeling maps? Let's say for example you have a map given by a teacher, and the teacher gives you instructions. Again, you have to understand the instructions. The second question, and accordingly you have to label the map. For example, let us say that you have a map with you. I say go straight and then take a left. On the left, the first corner, there is D marked. So you have to listen to the instructions very carefully, and according to the instructions given to you, you have to label where D marked is located. This is very, very simple, but the most important thing here is you have to listen. So once you listen well, it will be very easy for you to understand what is said to be labeled. Now the next thing that we come across is listening tips. We have 10 listening tips for you. So these tips can also be called strategies, right? Now let us see what the tips that are given here. There are 10 tips. Tip number 1 is complete listening without answers. Now what do you understand by this? First of all, let us say this: complete listening. So you listen the whole audio completely first, without marking the answer or without writing the answer. Don't do it. Don't mark the answer, don't write the answer, just listen to it once. Now, what is the need of doing this? Once you listen to it very carefully, you will understand what are the things being told or being said in the audio. So once you know everything, you will be able to mark the answers easily when you listen to it for the second time. So it is very, very important that you complete listening for the first time. Once it is done, then you start writing your answers. That will help you to find the answers easily, and that will help you to find the answers quickly. So to find the answers easily and quickly, you need to complete listening first. Remember, complete listening first and then only you mark or write your answers. Let us move on to the second point, or you can say the second point, developing skills. Now, what is developing skill? Let us say that you are focusing or you are saying practicing listening skill. So you are supposed to develop that skill very well in you. Once you have it in you, once you have developed the whole skill in you, it will be very easy for you to understand and solve the listening tasks. See, you have to understand that you are developing the skills means you are a trainer or you are being trained that time. You are under a training. So while you are being trained, you must develop the skills that are necessary, and then only you should move further. So first of all, focus on developing the skills, and then only you go for the test. So that is very, very important. Let us see the third tip. The third tip is listening and writing at the same time. See, this is very, very important. This requires a lot of focus, because you have to put your brain at two different things at the same time. So this may be very, very difficult, but as it is said, practice makes a man perfect. If you practice listening first, and then slowly and gradually, if you practice writing and listening at the same time, it will help you to develop skills very easily. So, listening and writing at the same time is again a difficult task, but if practiced well, it will be very easy for you to do it. Now, remember this. Here, it is very, very important that you are focused while you are listening. If you are focused while listening, it will help you write it very well. So remember this and keep your focus. Next tip is number 4, practice transferring answers. Now, what is practicing transferring answer? So are you supposed to transfer your answers? Yes, you are supposed to transfer your answers. How? Now let us see. You need to write your answers sometimes while you are listening. So you may have a rough page with you. You can write down your answers in the rough page, so that later on when you are given the answer sheet, you can copy those answers in the answer sheet. So you need to practice this as well, because you have to mention all the answers correctly with correct spellings, in correct order. All these things matter. So do it well. I'll be showing you an answer sheet afterwards. What answer sheet is given to you? For that, let us take some time and finish this, and then I'll show you that. So again, practice transferring answers. So once you have written all the answers in a rough page, you are given 10 minutes time. How much? You are given 10 minutes time. In those 10 minutes, you are supposed to write all the answers in the answer sheet. Right? The next tip is guess your answers. I have written in bracket, not always. Now what does that mean? You have to guess your answers. But when do you guess your answers? That also matters. It's not necessary that you guess all the answers. Whenever you miss some answers, or let us say you could not hear the answer, that time you have to just guess an answer for that. But that should not happen all the time, because it may not be correct all the time. Sometimes it may be a wild guess and it can be correct, but not always. So remember, you can guess answers, but only when you miss something. Next tip that I want to give you is write your answers in capitals. Now, why is this necessary? Why do we need to write all the answers in capitals? See, your answer sheets are checked by computers. So, it is very, very important that you write all your answers in capitals, so that sometimes if some words or some letters are not recognizable, or the computer may not be able to recognize your words or letters, so to avoid that particular thing, you have to write all your answers in capital, so that it makes easy for the computer to check all your answers. Next tip that I would like to give you is number and numbers, or you can say number or numbers, then check the instructions. So you have to check the instruction and find out whether it is number or numbers in the instruction. If it is number, and if you write more than one number, your answer will be wrong. The same way, if there are numbers that you are supposed to mention, and if you write only a single number, that too is wrong. So remember this, that when it is about numbers, you write numbers means more than one, and if it is just a number, that means you need to mention only one number. So that is the 7th point that we have to keep in mind. Next tip is check your spellings when you transfer in 10 minutes. Remember, I told you that you are given 10 minutes to copy your answers in the answer sheet. Right? Now, what do you need to do when you transfer all your answers, or let us say not transfer, when you write all your answers in the answer sheet, it is very, very important for you to check all the spellings. Because the more spelling mistakes you make, the more marks you lose. So for not losing your marks, you must write all the spellings correct. Maybe you write your spellings wrong, but if you recheck your paper, or if you recheck your answers, you may get your wrong answers correct afterwards. So the next tip that we have is number 9, and this is somewhat relatable to your tip number 5. It says if you miss any answer, leave it. Now here leave it doesn't mean leave it forever. Don't leave it blank. Leave it for that particular time. Do you understand? Leave it for that particular time. Don't leave it blank. You are not supposed to leave it blank, as I told. So you are not supposed to leave that answer. See, when you write all these answers, you will be given 40 boxes in which you are supposed to write all your answers. If you leave that box empty, or if you don't write your answer, it is very obvious that you will lose your mark, right? But don't do it. Write any answer, or just give a guess wild guess, so that in case if that answer is correct, you get a mark. So it is very, very important that for a particular period of time, you leave it blank and move on to the next question and answer. And then when everything is completed, as I say, guess your answer and write it in that missed question, so that you have your all 40 questions attempted. And in case if your answer that you guessed is correct, you get your marks. So again, if you miss any answer, leave it for that particular time. The next tip that I would like to give you is do not focus on extra information. See, you have to scan for the information. You have to look for the information that you have to answer for. If there is a question, what is your name? So you don't write other details of yours. You just write your name, that my name is this. Let us say my name is Suresh. So you write Suresh and leave other information. You don't need to mention Suresh's address, his father's name, his education, qualification, All these things are not necessary. What you need to focus on is what is the information that they want. If they want only the name of the person, then you write the name of the person. If you provide any other or extra information for that, you are not given any marks. So remember, do not focus on extra information. Now, this is what the tips that I wanted to give you. As I complete this video, I will be giving you an audio. Now, that audio is for your self-assessment. You have to listen to the audio and find out that how you find it. Whether you find it difficult, whether you find it easy, and get back to me and let me know whether you found it interesting or not. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and these tips that you have got today will help you in scoring your marks or in increasing your marks better. Right? Thank you very much.
Section 2. You are going to hear a news report from an Australian radio program. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 13. Now listen to the news headlines and tick the 3 other items which are mentioned.
This is the 6 o'clock news for Tuesday the 25th of November. And first the headlines. The Prime Minister has promised to help the drought-stricken farmers in the northern part of the country who haven't seen rain for nearly 2 years. And in Sydney, a group of school children are successfully rescued from a plane which landed in the sea shortly after takeoff. Transport workers are on strike in Melbourne over a pay claim, and the strike looks set to spread to other states. And on a fashionable note, there's to be a new look for the staff of Qantas, Australia's national airline.
Now you have some time to look at questions 14 to 21. As you listen to the rest of the news, complete the notes in the spaces provided.
The Prime Minister has pledged today that he will make $250 million available to help the drought-stricken farmers who have not seen rain for years get through the next 5 years. Money that was to have been spent on the restructuring of Sydney's road system has been reallocated to what the Prime Minister described as a more worthy cause. Farmers are to receive financial assistance to help see them through the worst drought in over 50 years. Many farmers feel that while the money is welcome, it has come too late to save them and their farms from financial ruin, and are angry that the government did not act sooner. A group of school children who were travelling in a privately chartered aeroplane from Sydney to Queensland to take part in a musical concert found themselves swimming for the shore when their aeroplane had to land in the sea just 3 minutes after taking off from Sydney Airport. The pilot managed to bring the aircraft and its 50 passengers down safely in the calm waters of Botany Bay, where boats and pleasure craft were able to come to the rescue of the boys. The fact that it was a weekend meant that there were hundreds of boats in the bay enjoying the good weather, and this undoubtedly helped the rescue operation. "We owe our lives to the skill of the pilot," said one of the boys, but the pilot replied modestly that it was all part of a day's work. However, all their musical instruments were lost, and they never got to play at the concert.
That is the end of section 2.